Where you at, love? You're falling far behind. Are you keeping up or giving up? Which one? Why'd you look down? I know you're scared to hide. It ain't fun if it's easy. You gon' have to cross that bridge if it won't be where I is. Don't go talking big and poppin' shit if you cannot handle it. If you want me, then meet me where I am. Yeah, you see where I am. So catch me if you can. Don't go back down, baby, no. 'Cause you need what I am.
Yes, welcome. Yes, you are listening to the Creative Lips Podcast. Yes, you are. Yes, you are, guys. Thank you all for tuning in with me. I am your host, Regina. Yes, I am your host. And you are listening to episode number 49. Yes, episode number 49 on the Creative Lips Podcast, guys. Yes, I thank you for all of the active listeners and all of the new listeners. Thank you all for tuning in with me on this Monday. Yes, thank you. Thank you, guys. Yes, I appreciate you all. Thank you all for bearing with me. Yes, on this little break that I have taken. Yes, you know, we all need those breaks here and there. And, you know, just like I said, I want to give you all good content. Good content. Yes, I just want to bring you all good content. And, you know, it feels good, as always, just to be back and just to be talking to you guys. Yes, it feels so good. Yes, it does. Yes, guys. Yes, I really anticipated this. Really, you know, wanted to do this on this new month of August. And yes, we are still in a pandemic. Yes, we are. When is it going to be over? You know what I'm saying? That's all we are saying to each other. When is it going to be over? You know? And, you know, as I always, I like to start off my podcast with just basically, you know, saying different, you know, affirmations or the same affirmations that I always say, just positive words of encouragement to you all. Yes, positive words of encouragement to you all. Yes. You know, and some of us, you know, are still going through trying times. Trying times are before us. Yes, before us. And of course, you know, we just need to hear something, you know, something that's going to get us through it all, just through it all, no matter what it is. Only you know what it is. Only you know what you are going through right now as we speak. Only you know what that problem is, guys. And, you know, and I hope and pray that you will make it out of that situation, that problem, that setback. Whatever it is, I pray that you will make it through victorious, guys. Yes, victorious, and it will work in your favor the way that you want it to work out in your favor, the way that you want it to be. It'll be in the right timing, just right for you. And you will see that light at the end of the tunnel. That door will open for you. Yes, it will. They will say a yes. Yes, they will offer you that opportunity. And you will see your way through any situation, whatever it is, in the end, guys. Okay? Yes, in the end, guys. Yes, it will work out in your favor. All right, guys. So now let's get into it. Now, are we here for Mondays? Yes, guys. I am back. I am back, guys. Yes, I'm here. And I'm going to be talking about, a couple of topics today, things that went viral, in the latest news, talking about the latest fashion and trends and music. And of course, just like I said, just a little bit of tea. Yes, just a little bit of tea, guys. Yes, just a little bit of tea, guys, today. And, that's what my podcast is talking about. That's, just those are some of the things that this podcast represents, that I represent, So I just wanted to just put that out there for all of the newcomers. Yes, for all of the newcomers who are listening, I thank you all for your support and welcome. Welcome to the Creative Lips Podcast. Yes, welcome. So the first topic that I'm going to start talking about today is TikTok. Oh, God, TikTok. Yes, TikTok. For all of you TikTokers, so all of you TikTokers out there, what will you do the day that TikTok is no more? You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do, guys? What are you going to do without it? I mean, what will your day be like without TikTok? Because, TikTok's fate is in the U.S. hands, and it remains uncertain as we speak. Yes, as we speak right now. TikTok, however, is a threat. Is a threat, for those who do not know, is a threat to Facebook, Instagram. Because, Facebook had bought Instagram. You know what I'm saying? For those who did not know. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Facebook had bought Instagram. And, of course, for the internationals, WhatsApp. Yes, WhatsApp. They were taken up by Facebook right along with Snapchat. Yes, but TikTok has survived the Zuckerberg's Facebook conquer and take over mode. Yes, they have survived it. So, since early 2019, the app has regularly appeared near the top of the download charts. Yes. Over 100 million plus Americans come to TikTok for entertainment and, of course, the connection. Yes. But an estimated 2 billion downloads worldwide, with about 800 million active users. Yes, come to TikTok from diverse backgrounds, from all walks of life, to do, of course, a mix of viral dance challenge crazes that some of them really get on my nerves. I can honestly say that. That's just my personal opinion, guys. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. They come to TikTok just to do that. And let alone with, some of the movie and the lip sync comedy sketches too as well. They come to TikTok for that. Just to have some sense of fun, some sense of some people just to have something to do. Because they're bored in the house, bored. You know what I'm saying? So TikTok has become a phenomenon right now. It's a phenomenon. And I have been talking about TikTok for a while now. I've talked about how Rihanna has a TikTok house. She has a TikTok beauty house right now, for those who do not know. And she had, garnered some of the likes of the YouTube, top influencers to live within these TikTok houses that they have. There are a lot of them, a lot of TikTok houses out there. For those who do not know, they are popping up all over everywhere. Yes, they are. And, just like I said, it's becoming a phenomenon among young people and now the older people too as well. Yes, older people like myself and your grandmother. Yes. TikTok is really taking off, Now, for those who don't know, once a user on TikTok gets more than 1,000 followers, they can also broadcast live to their fans, their many supporters, and accept digital gifts. Yes, digital gifts which can be exchanged for money. In addition to its biggest investors, of course, their biggest investors come from the U.S. Yes. Ever since, of course, we all know, ever since COVID-19 hit, the downloads from TikTok have skyrocketed. Yes. By being downloaded 315 million times in the first 3 months of this year. This is more quarterly downloads than any other app, guys, in history. In any other app that you use on your phone in history. And guess what? This app is downloaded the most. Of course, for those who do not know, this app is downloaded the most in India. Yes, it's downloaded the most in India. But of course, ever since, certain parts of India had banned TikTok, and of course, this is trickling along to the United States as well, because we all know that, of course, it means China is currently its top market. We are competing against that, because since this app is a Chinese app, for those who did not know. You get some people who don't know these things, guys. You know what I'm saying? You get some people who don't know. So now a brief summary on how this ban started. Some people want to know. There's a lot of controversy, a lot of speculation. A lot of people talked about this app being, why is this app being banned? A lot of people have argued about it. A lot of people have talked about it. A lot of people said that it's not going to happen. A lot of people say, I'm still going to use the app until I can't use it no more. Because they want to do them dance challenges, y'all. You know what I'm saying? They want to do them. You know what I'm saying? But, with its strong links to China, just like I said, it's a Chinese app. It's the latest company to come under attack as tensions between China's president and, of course, our president rise. They're rising right now. The U.S. argues that the security, so this is where it started. It started because the security of the app might be sensitive, through people using the app. Yes. And might be shared with China. Yes, with China. TikTok is an open access social media platform. It has had its issues in the past, you know what I'm saying? With data privacy and cybersecurity, collecting a lot of data on US and European citizens. TikTok collects a huge amount of data. Now for those TikTokers out there, for those who do not know, you get some who do know and they don't even care. You know what I'm saying? But this is what the data TikTok actually collects. Now, for those who don't know, Now, this is a huge amount of data on its users. Now, this is what it's including, okay? It includes, and this is what it collects. It collects what videos are watched and commented upon, your location data, your phone model and operating systems used, the keystroke rhythms. You know, when you're typing in your search rhythms, you want to, type in the Savage Dance Challenge. Yes, your keystroke rhythms people exhibit when they type. Yes. Some of the app's data collection has raised eyebrows. Yes, it has, guys. Including the recent revelation that it was regularly reading the copy and paste clipboards of users. However, guys, all social media does the same damn thing. And of course, all of them have shown that they do not need to look further than your Facebook, Instagram or Twitter to seek to misinform and influence us. You know what I'm saying? You should know. Now, for those who don't know, you should know that China has banned U.S. social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter, denying its citizens access. Yes. Now, this is just my opinion. Now, should the U.S. not do the same to Chinese-owned platforms? Should we not do the same since they are doing the same thing to our platforms? Should we not do the same to their platforms as well? I mean, for you TikTokers out there, of course you're saying no, of course, because you find that app entertaining and your children as well. Something to do, something fun to do, different challenges, skits, or whatever, But it will be difficult. It will be difficult for, some parents. I can just honestly say it can be difficult for some parents who allow these apps to babysit our children. It would be hard. It would be really hard for some parents who just do that, who just allow their children and, their teenagers to just indulge in these apps. You know what I'm saying? You have to be really careful, because we really have to watch our children, but that's just my opinion, in regarding, children using these apps, so as we go on into, deeper into the big uncertainty of TikTok, where it lies in the hands of the U.S., it would be difficult for the Trump administration to simply right now back down now without taking some action or introducing some sanctions against the big platform that you all use, TikTok. President Donald Trump said this last Friday night, that he will ban the popular short form video app called TikTok from operating in the United States, rejecting a potential deal for Microsoft to actually buy the app from its Chinese-owned parent company. Yes. He stated that as far as TikTok is concerned, we're banning them from the United States. And he also went on to say he would use emergency economic powers or an executive order. Ouch. This man is talking about even using a damn executive order to ban all of you TikTokers out there from using that major app. Trump's declarations could be a part of a negotiating strategy. You know what I'm saying? Because, so TikTok is owned by ByteDance. ByteDance is a major corporation out there in China, and they used to own, Musically. Musically was a big platform for all of you who do not remember Musically. Musically is like, I only use it once or twice to put my music on there years ago, just to see what it was like, because I'm a tech head and I just used it, and it was pretty cool. And Musically wasn't doing really, it just wasn't doing good at all. So they informed all of the Musically users to move over to TikTok. Yes, to TikTok in 2014. And ByteDance, TikTok, Chinese parent company, they just took over, TikTok by, just making everyone into using this app TikTok right now. With his intended goal, of getting ByteDance, TikTok Chinese parent company, removed entirely from the platform's ownership. Meanwhile, Fox Business had learned that the talks about a possible Microsoft purchase of TikTok are not on pause, but negotiators are waiting for the administration's final decision. Both TikTok and Microsoft are pushing for a compromise that would allow a deal to take place. One such as compromise would involve the president invoking an action by the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, forcing a removal of TikTok's, all of the, TikTok's app on United States soil, for, of course, to commencing their business, but allowing an American company to buy it if it clears the national security's concerns of the app. Now, this is what President Trump said about this on Friday. This last Friday, on July the 31st, he said that his administration was moving toward a total ban of this app on, just like I said, the United States soil. But he has also indicated he might be open to a deal where the company is purchased by a U.S. company like Microsoft. See, there you have it, guys. And that's what he's really, really trying to do. Like, if you really look at the whole big picture, I think he wants in on that Microsoft deal. That's just my opinion, That's just my opinion, where I feel as though that's what he wants, but, it remains to be seen. And I guess as the days go along, you TikTokers, just like, you all keep on saying, I'm going to keep on using the app until I can't use the app no more. And of course, TikTok has also came forth and said that we are always going to be here. We're not going nowhere. And, I guess you're just going to have to keep on clicking the app and see if it works for you all. You know what I'm saying? All right. So now the next topic that I know you all been waiting for, at least one of the topics that I'm talking about today, is Brandy. Yes, Brandy. Oh my God. Yes, Brandy dropped her 7th studio album titled B7. Yes, B7 on Friday. Yes, she did. Yes, she did, guys. This album shows a new side of her on her writing skills in this album too, as well. Yes, it does. And she also had a listening party for this album titled B7 on YouTube for it as well. After an 8-year hiatus, Brandy has taken, she took an 8-year hiatus. Now, I dubbed her. Now, a lot of people have dubbed her, but I dubbed her too, okay, as the vocal Bible. Yes, I did. Yes, she is the vocal Bible. Now, Brandy album this time around is a special vibe. I'm telling you guys, y'all gotta listen to that album, man. Come on, y'all, listen to Brandy's new album. It's so dope. It's a special vibe, man. The whole album from beginning to end. Oh my God. Yes, from beginning to end. The album is dope as I don't know what. From beginning to end, man. From beginning to end. You know, her previous albums, Never Say Never and Full Moon, which are both of them revered as the R&B blueprints inspired by her new work right now. Her new work of what y'all hearing right now. This is her new work, y'all. So I'm telling you, y'all, she was not holding back any more on this album. You know, Brandy explored the way we love, whether for ourselves or another. And, you know, and as, you know, I can describe this album. B7 worked to be her most personal album to date, man. This is her personal album to date. Like, if you can listen to the words and the lyrics of this, man, you can really hear she put her all into this album, man. For real, she did. Now, this is a 15-track album. She has 15 tracks on this album, and it takes us through the past few years of her life. It takes us on a journey through the concept of love, filtering through its every track in any possible way. You know, it celebrates a romance, and it also indulges in infatuation too as well. You know, it features collaboration with artists like Daniel Caesar on the song last year's hit Love Again, and Chance the Rapper on, of course, the hit that, you know, I love that hit, yo. That song that came out last year, Baby Mama, or earlier this year, called Baby Mama. Of course, she proudly professes her love for her daughter, Sarai. And also, speaking of her daughter, y'all, she also has a feature of her daughter singing on her album with a song title called High Heels. The album art also, if y'all look at the album art on B7, now for those who do not know, okay, all right, I did a little research on this, okay? So the album art pays homage to her hero. We all know who her hero is. Her hero, of course, is the late, great Whitney Houston, guys. Yes. And, you know, when I look at it, I just thought that, I was just like, yo, her album is so freaking dope. And, you know, and it all, you know, just like I said, it pays homage to her and the look from the movie Bodyguard. Yes, Bodyguard, guys. You know, and if you also look further into the front cover of the album, it also pays tribute to Brandy's own first few albums. Yes, first few albums, guys. Come on now, y'all gotta decode this. And as well as her signature braids from that era too, as well. While Brandy has returned to her roots and the aesthetics that help popularize her own album label. She has her own album label, guys. Yes, her own label. Yes. And it's called Brand New, for those who didn't know. And also, it is also produced under E1 Urban. So Brand New Golden Child E1. Yes. The album, which it is also produced right along with DC Camper, and the album also features contributions by the longtime songwriting collaborator LaShawn Daniels. For those who do not know, LaShawn Daniels, who sadly died last year in a car crash at the age of 41, Brandy credits him for helping her open up. Yes, she credits him for opening up. And, and of course, LaShawn Daniels, he also wrote songs for Toni Braxton, Tamar Braxton, and other entertainers, including her hero, Whitney Houston. He also contributed on Beyonce's Telephone. And, of course, a couple of other artists as well as, like Michael Jackson and, of course, Destiny's Child. And Brandy had also released a video. She had released a video for one of the songs on her album titled Borderline. Yes, Borderline. Yes. And Borderline, listen to this song right now, guys. Borderline. If y'all ever get a chance, check out that video on YouTube. Now, the video is basically talking about Brandy enters a confusing relationship with lots of self-doubt and self-criticism. And you can see that video is very deep. It's very, very deep. And, it talks a lot about, just like I said, this whole album talks a lot about, what she has been through for the past years. So y'all can just listen to it and you can really just feel her every emotion that she has put into this album. She went on to say that every song tells a story and it explores Brandy's journey, just like I said, over the last few years and how she came to be the resilient, spiritually grounded woman she is today. In addition to dropping the album, and she also released, just like I said, this music video. And, if y'all see this video, y'all will definitely feel every bit of the words that she has written. And this video was directed by Derek Blanks, and it just illustrates the darker emotional loneliness that can take over, any, type of romantic relationship. You can just get immersed in certain things and you can just really lose yourself, and that's what the song Borderline is basically talking about. And it's just really interesting to me, just hearing her album, and especially at this time right now, we need to hear good music like this. We definitely need to hear good music like this. And I'm glad that Brandy, dropped this album. At first she also stated that she was very hesitant about dropping this album, because of, what's going on in the world today. She really didn't know if she wanted to drop it. But I am so glad that she didn't hold back and not drop this album. And you can listen to Brandy's B7. It's out now on all your favorite streaming platforms, guys. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So make sure y'all go out and support Brandy right now and support her album titled, B7 right now. Yes, guys. All right. So now on the next and last topic, I know for all you people that have been waiting for this topic too as well. Yes, of course, Beyonce. Yes, Queen Bey herself. Yes, Queen Bey herself. Yes, of course, we're going to be getting in. We're going to definitely be getting into this next topic about Beyonce. Now, Beyonce, oh my goodness. Now, she released the visual album Black is King last Friday. Yes, she did. Those who have been anticipating on Black is King, and it, of course, she dropped it on the Disney Plus platform. Yes. Which she wrote, directed, and produced. Yes. She written, direct, and produced. Okay, so the narrative, of course, about this visual album, it of course unfolds through music videos, fashion, dance, beautiful natural settings, and raw new talent as well. Black is King is described as a film inspired by the live action feature film from the re-released Lion King movie from all of our childhoods, for those who watched it, from all of our childhoods, from 1994 cartoon movie. Yes, from that movie. For those who have not seen it, go watch it. Go watch it right now. Yes, go watch it. Yes. So, and of course, the re-release movie that, Beyonce was actually the voice of Nala. Yes, she was the voice of Nala. And now, for those who do not know what Black King is, okay, Black is King. I said Black King. And for those who do not know what Black is King, it is based on the music included on the Lion King soundtrack. The Gift. Yes, The Gift. She released it last year with the Disney movie on this album. Okay, so Beyonce invited Childish Gambino, Kendrick Lamar, Pharrell, 07 Shake, Tierra Whack, Philly's Own, and Jesse Reyes, as well as African artists Wizkid, Shatta Wale, Burna Boy, Mr. Eze. Excuse me if I'm not pronouncing these names right. I apologize ahead of time. Tiwa Savage, Techno, Gimme a Lady, Bisawa, and Solatel. I'm probably saying their names wrong. I apologize. And also her oldest daughter, Blue Ivy Carter, and her husband, of course. Her husband, Jay-Z. Yes. They were also on this soundtrack as well. Disney and Parkwood Entertainment. Yes. Disney and Parkwood Entertainment, which is Beyonce's company, had said that this film is a story for generations, informing and reenacting the present. Yes. A reunion of cultures and shared beliefs of generations. A story about how those who have been most affected have an extraordinary gift and a purposeful future. The visual album reimagines the lessons from The Lion King for the young kings and queens of today who are looking for their crowns. Yes. The film, which a cast and team that represents the diversity and connectivity, has been in production for a year. When I was looking at this, I was just looking at, just watching it. I was just in awe. Yes. Just looking at her creativity in this. I was just like, wow, she did the damn thing, you know what I mean? She did. Throughout all the beautiful aesthetic garments and various changes, are some of the all I can say that some of the staples, including several appearances from high fashion fixtures. Yes. Like Burberry, Valentino, Bauman. Queen Bey also placed special emphasis on highlighting 13 top designers from the Africa diaspora. Okay? My favorites are from... Now, these are some of my favorites. Now, I don't know if you all remember, she had the exaggerated shoulders. And of course, you know, some try to pull this off, you know, Bey's signature bodysuit silhouette. You know what I'm saying? Some try to pull this off. It was like a black and white fit that she had. Of course, you know, you could not miss. It was true to Bey's fashion game. And it was added with gold hardware and of course a lot of accessories she had to complete the look. And then she had her hair like in a Bantu knot. And it was from a designer by the name of Loza Melambino. I'm probably mispronouncing the name. I apologize. But however, I love that complete look. That complete look was dope. I really liked it a lot. And it was another fashion in there by the name of Tungoro fashion. She wore the Burma dress, and it was in the scene from the Brown Skin Girl. And I love that dress. That dress was like so beautiful. Loved it. And it was another fashion designer by the name of 531 Jerome. She was wearing a custom hand beaded Nigerian turquoise colored lace with a silk trench jumper. And she also had on these razor sharp sunglasses with it too as well, man. I was like, yo, that was fire. It was fire. I was like, I love this so much, you know. And I really enjoyed, you know, looking at, you know, the visual aspect of it and her putting her all and just putting her everything into this visual, you know, this visual album, you know, Black is King, you know. And you know, of course, even though the light that was shown upon her visual masterpiece, Black is King, you know, that she worked, you know, just like I said, she worked so hard to create outside the movie. Yes, outside of the whole, you know, Lion King movie. You know, just like she said, it was a whole year that she created this. And she worked with a diverse group of very gifted directors and actors and creatives from all over the world to reimagine this story of the Lion King. You know, this is what she said. You know, of course, she has, of course, come under criticism. You know, as she has always will even and ever, you know, she will always come under criticism no matter what she does. You know, she even came under criticism for even doing the voiceover of Nala. You know what I'm saying? She even came under fire for that as well. You know, and now this time, you know, some have accused her of peddling a narrative of how she pushes the African culture so broadly and in depth. Yes. How Black people around the world are represented and received through her new music and style as well. You know, they're really talking about her right now about this. You know, now it's becoming like a red flag even more now. You know, she represents this with a no holds barred position now it's just like it's all out there now, and it is shown especially, you know, just like I said, even more in Black is King. You know, Black is King is shown even more, and she's not even caring. You know, of course, you know, it was said that she was doing too much of culturally appropriating the African diaspora for her gain in her music adaptation. In previous visual eras, she has extensively referenced the traditional Yoruba deities like Oshun. Yes, she has, especially on that Lemonade visual album video. For those who don't remember, she introduced it. She has been doing it for a long time, but she really introduced it on Lemonade. If y'all remember that video titled Hold Up, yes, Hold Up. She definitely introduced us to Oshun. She really did. Now, for those who do not know what Oshun is, please look it up, guys. Come on now. Please look it up. Do your own research, just like I do my own research. Please do it. Please stay informed. For these people that you all listen to and you all like, you all support. Do your research, decode it. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know what you're listening to. You want to know what you are listening to. It pays to know, right? That's who you love and that's who you support. So just do your own research, guys. But however, on this latest visual, she incorporated choreography from the likes of the Mozambican dancers in her performances, down to the various choices of clothing choices and references that was shown within Black is King. Yes. Now, these critiques, disapprovals, and discussions are really heating up more than ever on Twitter. One user by the name of @Noxity stated that Beyonce needs to stop using Africa as a trope because she won't even come here to tour. Another user by the name of @KingAaron_ said, I agree, but I feel like y'all aren't taking African American history into consideration. When speaking about this Wakandification didn't necessarily start Black Panther or Beyonce. People have done many things throughout history in an effort to relate to the continent. Now, also in an article that I have read via Ace Showbiz and Love B. Scott. For those who listen to Love B. Scott, go support Love B. Scott. They had also written an article basically talking about the same cultural appropriation that Beyonce has been, coming under fire again, even more this time about Black is King now. They went on to say that she needs to read the room. One person who objects to a video reacted in an online forum, in a forum. Focus on the shit that's going on in the country she was born in. Romanticizing Africa isn't what we need right now, girl. That's what they said. They were serious about that shit. They said another agrees seriously. I am glad people have caught on to this because it has always bothered me how people appropriate African cultures. Believing that the 13-year-old singer is wrong, a third person commented saying that I've been saying all this will eventually backfire on her. It's clear she's out here pandering and riding a wave. People will eventually catch on. They will. And it's a bad look, especially when you want to bite off culture. Of course, someone else doubted that Beyonce's support of African people and African culture is genuine, noting that, saying that claim to love Africa, but they stay spending summer in Europe, etc. From Senegal to Seychelles, plenty of beautiful places to visit, of course. But since white people prefer the Hamptons, the south of France, and Capri, that's where you will most likely find the Carters. You know what I'm saying? So, the list goes on and on and on, with people really slamming Beyonce. They're really slamming her and condemning her and saying that the visual album, just doesn't represent Black history or the African tradition. It just doesn't represent the self-identity of it and the legacy of it, and of course you had people defending her, one person had said people are so sensitive. One person said, and then another person said, this is one of the rare moments where Africa is being shown in a positive light. That's not just Egypt or Morocco. Beyonce was clearly showing the variety of its culture, its African cultures. They shouldn't accuse her of being ignorant just because they can't tell the difference. And that's what one person said to defend her, and this one right here really, really, really struck a chord with me. The other person had said that they do not see anything wrong with using African culture to sell music. Honestly, I do not know why people are writing think pieces about this. Beyonce is just trying to sell her music. That's it. I see it for what it is, a promotional and marketing tactic to push her music, just like Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover, did with Gava Island. And I definitely agree with that last person, because I believe that what it is for her at this point, you know what I'm saying? That's what it is. That's an artist move. More than ever in the world of music today, you have to always reinvent yourself. Always. You have to. Especially since COVID-19 hit. Every single singer, actor, writer, dancer, etc., mainstream or not, had to do this and find a way to make money or be creative. I mean, that is what it is for her, in my opinion, and for everyone else. So maybe Beyonce will ultimately win this one. She has since, of course, Beyonce doesn't, say anything. Her camp doesn't really say anything when it comes to, all of these debates and, what people are saying, because isn't art supposed to be debated anyway? I mean, aren't we supposed to be talking about it? Like, just, having a discussion about it because it's art. And that's what Black is King is about. And it's also, in my opinion, too, I think this is also her inner spiritual self coming outward. Yes, it's coming outward. She is evolving and expressing her true self. She's 38 now. She's a 38-year-old mother now of three, married mother now, of three beautiful children. And I believe she wants to leave a legacy for them. Something for them to see what is real. And that's just basically it. I mean, that's just my opinion on how I feel about it. About, Black is King. Of course, you can also see, I can kind of understand the other side of it too. Not being biased or, or anything like that. But I mean, I can also see the other side of it, how people see that as being culturally appropriated too, with the influences of, the African culture, being just in our face like that. You know what I'm saying? But you get some people that's so used to seeing that young Beyonce, the drunken love Beyonce, people want to see that side. They want to see that side of it, of her, but, just like I said, she's a 38-year-old married mother of 3. And, she just wants to express herself and she just wants to move on and grow and do something new, something that she feels as though she can put her heart and soul in. And it could, just like I said, leave a legacy, leave a legacy for herself and her children and so forth and her grandchildren. And, and as time goes on. So, we can beg to differ on it. We can debate on it all day long, all night long. You know what I'm saying? But, however, it is what it is. And there you have it, guys. That's my commentary for Are We Here For It Mondays. You know what I'm saying? So now, let's get into it, guys. All right, now, so are we here for it or are we not here for it? The TikTok ban. Yes, the TikTok ban. Are we here for Trump administration banning, TikTok? Because of the security issues that TikTok has. Collecting all of our information when we use the app. Are we here for it or are we not? And are we, here for the possible purchase from Microsoft, from Bill Gates himself? Yes. Possibly purchasing TikTok. Is that a good move? Is that something that we, maybe don't know about? Maybe it's something more to that. I don't know. But, I can honestly say that I'm not here for it or I have no idea, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. If they ban it, they ban it. It's just an app, because I'm quite sure it's going to be another app for people to use. So now the next topic, are we here for it or are we not here for Brandy's new anticipated album B7? I am definitely here for it. You all know that. I am a B-Rocker fan. Yes, I am. B-Rocker fan, and I am definitely here for the album. Go out and stream her album, guys. You will love it. And also see her latest video, Borderline. Yes. Check it out on YouTube right now. Yes. And of course, last but least, are we here for it or are we not here for Beyonce's latest visual album, Black is King, off the live action feature film Lion King? Yes. So who knows what's next for her to do, just like I said, or create. But however, I am here for the creativity, the art, the effort, and the time that she has put into, and to bring this forth to us and what we just saw. As you can see, she spared no budget in it. You know what I'm saying? She spared no budget. So definitely, I am here for it. And I hope you all enjoy it. And yes, and I appreciate you all listening to this podcast. I also appreciate you all. Definitely. I appreciate you all, supporting me and, just listening to each and every episode that I have here, guys. It's a lot of hard work that I have put into my episodes. I really appreciate you all, guys. I really do. I thank you all for tuning in and downloading every episode, and it's more to come, guys. Yes, it is. It's more to come, guys. And and just like I said, follow me on all of my social media, guys. And also, please Please, guys, leave me a review. Yes, definitely leave me that 5-star rating, guys. Yes. And again, just like I said, follow me on all of my social media. Follow me on Instagram at CreativeLipsPodcast. Yes. And also follow me on Twitter at CreativeLipsPod, because you want to know what, guys? I post stuff there too. All right, guys. Until next time.
Get on my level. I bet you'll be glad you did. But first you're gonna have to cross that bridge. If you won't be where I is, don't go talking big and poppin' shit if you cannot handle it. If you want me, then meet me where I am. Yeah, you see where I am. So catch me if you can. Don't go back down, baby, no. Cause you need what I am. It can't be what I am. So catch me if you can. Elevate yourself. Don't play yourself. Don't miss out on a good thing. No. Get your mind right. If you want mine, die. Don't miss out on a good thing.
You are now listening to episode 49 of the Creative Lips